Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I don't know where or when you're listening to this, but I do know that you are tuned in to TB3 Sports Talk. And we are on cloud nine because it was a huge week for every team in Tampa Bay. Doesn't matter the level of play, professional, college, does not matter. It was going good for us, and we got a lot to talk about. How you guys feeling, boys?
I'm feeling great, man. No matter what time of day you're watching this or listening to it, could even be next Friday for all I know, you're going to be happy and excited because if you're a Tampa Bay sports fan, you got the best of the best weekend, baby. It was unreal. Huge Bucs win, big Rays wins, and I can't wait to get into it.
We'll kick it off as we usually do. We got a couple more weeks of Rays baseball before we head into the postseason. So let's quickly look and see how our boys in blue did this week. To start off, we have our afternoon Labor Day game. It's Rays-Red Sox. We're only down 2.5 games, I want to say, in our chase to first place against the O's. So to kick it off, we have Rays-Red Sox on Tuesday. Let's see. It was Monday?
Monday. Labor Day.
We were there, man.
We were there.
Yeah.
We were at the game.
It doesn't feel real because we were all at the game. It feels like it was a different thing. We weren't watching it like we normally were.
I thought the website I was on was good, but it's it's right. I'm sorry, I really struggle with these Rays highlights. I'll figure it out by the time we're in the postseason. All right, so started off in the first inning, Brandon Lau singles on a ground ball. It scores Josh Lowe and Randy Arozarena. And to continue on in this inning, Harold Ramirez doubles, and he brings in – who does he bring in? Let's see here. You say Brandon Lau? Brandon Lau. All right, Brandon Lau. So we're up 3-0 in the first. Red Sox do get themselves a run in the fourth on an Adam Duvall single. Justin Turner scored. Sorry. Man, I thought my website was good, but it's not. He singles to left. Rafael Devers scores, I'm sorry. I have to read a little area, and it's just not great for me. Top of the sixth, Boston takes the lead. They go up 4-3 on a Tristan Casas. Is that how you say that?
Yeah.
We'll go with that. 4-3, Tristan Casas, home run as a 3-run home run right there. Boston goes up 5-3 in the eighth. They're just making fun of us at this point. A lot of Boston fans in the stadium, but they've been pretty respectful this year. They know they're in last place. So Tristan Casas singles on a line drive. Rafael Devers scores. And if it wasn't bad enough, Yoshida homers. And with that home run as well, Tristan Casas scores to beat us 7-3. So we're starting off the week not great, but Colby's got some good news for you guys.
Well, you guys already have a little bit of a sneak preview because this game was going on during last week's TB3 podcast. We went into this game not feeling great, but not down in the dumps. We were looking to take the next two and win the series from Boston. And this game started off with a Trop triple from Jonathan Aranda. Dummy lost it in the lights, and we capitalized. And then after that, the greatest catcher in baseball, Rene Pinto, hits a 2-run bomb to make it 3-0. Immediately after, off Zach Eflin, who started this game, Emmanuel Valdez hit a 2-run home run to cut the lead to 3-2. And then in a very funky, odd inning, the Rays knock out Cutter Crawford after only 3 2/3 innings pitched, and they end up scoring on 2 bases loaded hit by pitches to make it 4-2 and 5-2. Give those RBIs to Brandon Lau and Isaac Paredes. And then the Boston just would not go away this week. In the top of the sixth, Justin Turner singled, an infield single. Vidal Bruin tried a jump throw. Unfortunately, it just didn't work out. There was a score. The bases ended up being loaded with 0 outs, and the Rays were able to wriggle out, only giving up 1 run in that inning. And the score stood 5-3 Rays. And then in the top of the seventh, some very costly defensive mistakes from the Rays, and this turned out to tie the game for the Red Sox. Justin Turner got a single, Tristan Casas got a single. Both of these plays should have been made by Rays defenders. It was brutal. And then nothing really happened. Bullpens held on both ways until the 11th inning, where Luis Urias hit a very shallow bloop single, and Brandon Lau was just not able to come up with it. Boston scores, goes up 6-5, and then they bring in Kenley Jansen, and he faces Brandon Lau after a great at-bat from Yandy Diaz, and Brandon Lau takes that man deep. The Rays win, walk-off home run, 8-6. I'll give it to you, Joel, for the rubber match.
He really should have blown that at the game we were at, and I was planning on it. I'm like, who cares? Jensen's coming in, he's gonna blow it. But he waited until the next game to do it, so that stinks. All right, game 3 of 7 for this week. We're looking at the rubber match for this Boston series. It starts out with a Connor Wong triple. Emmanuel Valdez scores, but the Rays knotted up in the bottom of the third with a Brandon Lau scorching hot, hottest I think I may have ever seen him homer. So we're at 1-1. Rays coming into the fourth inning, follow it up with some more runs. Isaac Paredes hits his 28th home run of the year into left field. In the bottom of the fifth, we are just pouring it on them at this point. Harold Ramirez doubles, and Yandy Diaz scores. So we're looking at 3-1, and that, my friends, is where the game ends. We close it out with a Pete Fairbanks save, and we take this series from Boston.
And that game was a Glaster class, as I like to call it.
I forgot to say that,
and we'll be talking about him later because he has been just lights out recently, and that game was the pinnacle of disgustingness. So we move on. The Seattle Mariners are coming to town for a 4-game series.
We're feeling good. We're feeling good.
Yeah.
Playoff implications.
Yes, this is at the point of this series starting. This is what would have been locked in as the wild card series: Rays versus Mariners at the Trop. So game 1, the Mariners ace is on the bump, Luis Castillo, and this was an old-fashioned pitching duel, guys. Luis Castillo went 6 innings pitched, 4 hits, 4 walks, 8 strikeouts, 0 runs. The Rays were able to kind of make him work early but not capitalize. And then on the other side, for your Tampa Bay Rays, Zach Littell, who had a lot of doubters and naysayers, had just a gem of a start, going 8 innings pitched, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, and 4 strikeouts. That's the longest a Rays pitcher has gone all season. It was just an amazing game. Unfortunately, that 1 run he gave up in the second inning to a Mike Ford single was the only run of the ball game, and the Rays lost that game 1-0.
It's okay, though, because on Friday they took all the runs that they were holding on to on Thursday, and they scored them. We win this game 7-4. Some of the scoring we have here. Isaac Paredes starts it out quick in the first inning. He singles, and he brings in Yandy Diaz. Josh Lowe gives us a sacrifice fly, giving us up 2-0. But in the second, the Mariners quickly tie it up 2-2. In the third inning, they go up 3-2. 4-2 by the fifth, but it's okay because the Rays are the comeback late in the game heroes this year, and we get 4 runs in the 7th inning. What do we got here? We got a Rene Pinto home run. My catcher. He is my catcher, let me just say that. He may give up some pass balls, but he hits the ball far. And Harold Ramirez, not being overmatched, he homers in this inning as well. That's a 2-run home run. Brandon Lau scores on it as well. And then in the bottom of the 8th, Isaac Paredes hits his 29th home run of the year. Great week for him to make this score 7-4. This is where the Rays will wrap it up. And again, Pete Fairbanks on a hot streak right now gets us his 21st save of the year.
And we go into Saturday, a 4:10 start time for your Rays versus the Mariners. And this game did not start off good for your starting pitcher, Aaron Savali. He ended up getting 3 runs up in the first inning. These were on a Ty France single and a Dominic Canzone walk. He just didn't really seem to have all his pitches working today. The Rays were able to cut into that lead immediately off of Isaac Paredes' double in the bottom of the first to make it 3-1. But then Seattle got more insurance by Julio Rodriguez solo home run. However, the Rays just don't quit. Aaron Savali was able to get through 5 innings, and then bottom of the 5th inning, Brandon Lau 2-run double to bring in Taylor Walls and Jonathan Aranda. And then bottom of the 7th inning, bullpen is holding, boys are scoring. Taylor Walls single 4-4. Yandy Diaz pinch hit appearance double 5-4 Rays. It's feeling good. However, top of the 8th, after an error and a bloop single, Robert Stevenson comes in to get the final out of the inning, except a wild pitch happens. The score is tied. It's unfortunate. However, we bring that score into the bottom of the ninth inning, 5-5. And then Yandy Diaz, in his second plate appearance of the game, after having an RBI double, hits a walk-off home run, laser shot into the opposite field. The Rays win 7-5. We're looking to win the series on Sunday, Joel.
So, yeah, we're here. We're looking to get this series. We need it. Baltimore is trying to distance themselves. And we've had something of a sandwich here. We've had Thursday close game, Friday a bit of a blowout. Or I may have said that wrong. Saturday was – so, wait. Now I messed myself up, but I want to make sure I say it right. Thursday was the blowout. No. Thursday was a close game?
All these games have been close,
All right,
honestly.
so Thursday close game, Friday blowout, Saturday close game. Do we keep this going? Yes. Sunday was a pretty good game. We get comfortable quick. We go up 3-0 in the first, so we're feeling good about this win here. It comes with a Harold Ramirez double. That brings in Yandy Diaz and Brandon Lau. And then Josh Lowe hits himself a double and Harold Ramirez scores. We're still going here. We're in the third inning. We're just keeping this going. It's all good. We are getting this game. Luke Raley gets himself a double, and Josh Lowe and Jose Siri score, so we are at 5-0. Seattle tries to make it close, but they only get one run in the fourth off of a Josh Rojas single, so it's got 1-5. They make it 2-5 in this inning as well, but who cares? Rays are winning this game. Top 5, they get another one. So, Seattle actually is making this game close. So we got 3-5, but it's okay because my second favorite catcher in the league, Christian Betancourt, gets himself a single, and that one guy that I still can't pronounce his name, Oslavi Basabe. Did I do good, guys?
Close.
No?
Oslevis Basabe.
I'll get it by next year. So that makes it 6-3, and with that, the Rays take this series 3-1, and we're feeling good. Do we gain any ground on Baltimore? No, we don't. Baltimore's just really good.
Yes.
Baltimore's just really good.
Baltimore's good. We started this game this week off 2.5 back of them. We are now 3 back from them. However, it had been down to up to 4 before yesterday's slate where Baltimore lost, and Baltimore was on a winning streak. They haven't been on a losing streak.
Not until today.
Yes. So we're still in striking distance. We're going into a huge series in Camden Yards coming up this weekend. So I still feel good about where the Rays are. A 5-2 week, a great homestand against 2 pretty quality opponents is something that I think we just love to see.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at a divisional round matchup between the Mariners, the Rays would have won that 4 games. They take 3, so there you go, baby.
It's nice to see us playing big against some of these bigger teams. So looking at Seattle, I'm like, ooh, they're pretty good. They're pretty hot. But we went 3-1 in that series, so I will tip my cap to the Tampa Bay Rays.
And I like giving the Red Sox more losses. I still think that they can somehow miraculously battle their way back into the postseason picture. It's not going to happen, Red Sox fans. Sorry. You guys stink.
There's a little bit of me that's rooting for them.
I can't root
I
for
hate
them.
I hate the Blue Jays.
Oh, I don't like the Blue Jays either. I want those West teams to get in, but I think the Blue Jays might sneak in. Big series, Rangers at Blue Jays this week, a 4-gamer, which could be one of the biggest series of the season. Also, we're talking about this like a playoff series, and I want to say 4 games. Rays bullpen did not give up a single earned run in the entire 4 games. All the runs came off starters. The Rays bullpen kept them in the games, kept them ahead. It was it's great stuff. So I mean that's our recipe to win.
They've been lights out, and Adams is out. So we're gonna get better.
Man, I don't know. Bob Steves, he's on a bit of a cold streak. He gave up his first hit since August 11th. Can you believe
He's
that?
washed.
His first hit since August 11th. No, seriously, these guys have been battling. They've been playing lights out, and we need it. This is a time to get hot, and this week is huge for the Tampa Bay Rays.
It's the playoffs before the playoffs.
Yeah, and just to give you guys some numbers behind this bullpen, just masterclass this week. 2 wild cards for our bullpen that have been great recently are Jake Diekman and Colin Poche. Jake Diekman went 3 innings pitched this week, 0 earned runs, a 0.33 whip with 5 strikeouts, and Colin Poche went 3 2/3 innings, 0 earned runs, 4 strikeouts, and 0.55 whip. So, I mean, these guys are these are probably 4th, 5th in line when it comes to maybe up the ladder because Adams not in. But these guys are playing lights out, and they're not even the top 3 of the bullpen. The bullpen right now is something to behold.
Yeah,
And
Colin Poche, man.
That's how the playoffs work too. Like you see when you go into the playoffs, it's like the starter goes like 4 innings, and then it's just a battle of the bullpen. So I'm usually not like the highest on the Rays. I'm usually a bit pessimistic, but like the Rays might really have a shot here. Like if our lineup can stay hot going into the playoffs, like we might be looking at the ALCS and the World Series.
Yeah, I think so too. And then another key to the cog of what I think can be a World Series run is our ace, is our beautiful Oppenheimer. It's Tyler Glasnow. This man against Boston on Wednesday, not a slouch lineup by any means. 6 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 walk, 14 strikeouts. So I don't know if you guys we're not a math podcast, but I'll do this. That's 14 of the 18 outs he recorded were strikeouts. I mean, come on now. I'll ask you guys' opinion on this, but there's not many pitchers right now in baseball that I would feel better about on the mound than Tyler Glasnow.
No, seriously. You look at last year when he came back, started to heat up towards the playoffs, and we're seeing it again. But I'd say this year he's looking even better. And I know we went into the season with Shane as the ace, and Glasnow was dealing with a little bit of some injuries still going in. But, man, you just love this guy, and you love when he's on the mound. You feel so confident. And, again, with him on our roster, especially in the postseason, I'm just starting to believe. I get a little more belief every single week.
In the air. I can smell it.
Imagine we had Glasnow and McClanahan as a 1-2 punch.
Jeffrey Springs.
I
miss Springs. I
Drew Rasmussen.
So, but okay, McClanahan, Glasnow, Springs in a 3-game wildcard series. You're not getting to Springs because you're not beating Glasnow or McClanahan. That's nutty. Get excited for next year because Springs will be back. McClanahan won't. But
yeah, 2025 they'll all be there.
Oh,
maybe.
Just get ready for 2025, ladies and gentlemen.
But still, I think we're really excited just for this coming October because the Rays do have a really good shot. They're the highest. Their record is 32 games over 500. That's the highest they've been all season, even when they were thriving in April and May. So it's something. It's great to see these guys playing good. It's awesome.
And these pitchers keep picking themselves up. Like early on, like McClanahan was the guy when he started to kind of go down. Zach Eflin was the guy, and Zach Eflin, if we're being honest, he's had like a few rough starts lately, and now Glasnow's picking it up. So like, I love the character of the starting rotation. Like there's always like a lead man. It seems like.
Yeah. No, there's always someone. Yeah, they seem like a tight knit group, and they seem to just pick each other up when there's bad starts. I know Eflin's starts have been they weren't terrible this week. Obviously, we got the quote of he felt like he was butt naked in the middle of the island.
I didn't hear that.
And that Boston thing. So obviously he didn't feel like it was a good start. But both these starts last week, there were 5 innings, 3 earned runs. So we'll take that. I think that's the type of start we can win with a lot of times. So we'll take it. Obviously, we know Eflin can be a 6-7 inning.
Yeah, he set his standards really high early on the season. So now I'm like, 3 runs. That's disgusting.
Yeah, shout out to Littell too, man. He had a great start. But again, it's just the Rays cannot give him run support. They still won that game, but while he was in, that would have been a lot more smooth sailing if they could have gotten any bat together.
Yeah, that's probably one of the best, if not the best, pitching performance by any Beret this season. I feel so bad that he just kind of got hung out to dry, but he kept pitching good. It's good for him in the coming days and weeks because we're going to need him to keep playing. Like if he plays like that, that's such a boost.
And that's a good thing to be complaining about too. It's like, oh man, our pitcher had such a good start, but we couldn't get him a run. It's like, well, at least there was a good part in that. So
yeah, well, especially for 5-2, it's not
this was a good week of Rays baseball,
so,
gain ground or not.
Speaking of good weeks, I'm going to hit you guys with them. Brandon Lau, very good week. He was getting all the big hits. 2 home runs, 6 for 24, 9 ribbies this week, with a 379 on base and 962 OPS. Then Isaac Paredes, we noted that he was struggling the last week. He has come back with a vengeance this week.
He listened to the podcast.
Yeah, he listened to the podcast. Typical. He unfortunately got hit by a pitch, so he's day-to-day, but he should be coming back soon. No IL stint for him.
I actually got a notification on that. This is September 11th. He is out for the game tonight against the Twins, but Kevin Cash expects him to be ready to go September 12th in the second game versus the Minnesota Twins. So
That's
keep
great.
an eye on that.
So just plan on him hitting the walk-off for today's game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he could maybe off the bench. No, so Isaac Paredes, he had 2 home runs last week with a .526 on-base percentage, and that totaled out to a 1383 OPS. So he had a great week. Yandy Diaz, he was kind of in a little bit of a mini slump, and then he actually, after that pinch hit on the Saturday, I think he got 6 straight hits or something crazy like that. He ended up with a 958 OPS and a walk-off bomb. Jonathan Aranda has kind of started to pick it up. He's been getting a lot of playtime, like we mentioned. And this guy has kind of been an on-base machine recently. He has a .429 on-base percentage this last week, and he ended up with an .888 OPS. Harold Ramirez also had a good week, 6 RBIs for him, which is good to see him getting big hits. And then Rene Pinto hit 2 bombs, and they were 2 two-run bombs, and we love them. What sticks out, guys?
Yeah, I mean, dude, I called it at the beginning of this week. I said Brandon Lau's going to hit a bomb. He gave me 2. One of which was a walk-off, so I love when Brandon Lau's hot. And, dude, that guy's just addicted to hitting walk-offs, man.
He's
anytime Brandon Lau is in a game-winning situation, man, it's like who could you replace him with? I don't think of anybody in the game right now I'd rather have than Brandon Lau.
He's like the clutchest regular season player of all time.
Yeah, we got Randy, the clutch postseason guy, and then Lau, the clutch regular season guy.
Yeah, so
we're covered.
Yeah, I think we all feel the same about Brandon Lau. He is the difference between our offense being looking to get 2, 3, 4 runs to our offense is looking to get 6, 7, put Papa John's out of business.
Yeah, he really does tip the scale.
Mm-hmm.
I need you to stay hot, Brandon. Keep listening.
Yeah, keep listening, Brandon. We'll keep loving you up. Think it's good to see Yandy coming back a little bit. He was struggling a little bit after his kind of shoulder discomfort, so love to see him get hot too. Big bomb, flexing his muscles. Love to see that as well.
If you didn't see that pitch he hit out to, it's an impressive home run. It was a changeup off the plate, and he just shot it the other way, and it was a missile. I think Jonathan Aranda really has stuck out to me. I think we kind of talked about this yesterday. Jonathan Aranda seems to get in the 3-ball count every plate appearance. So at the very minimum, he's making pitchers work to get him out, and then he's also having some success drawing walks. And I know he had a double and a triple last week, so he's having some success. He's getting contact. He's going the other way. He's speeding up to fastballs occasionally. He still struggles with that, but he could be definitely a valuable, at least bench bat for the playoffs for the Rays. Yeah,
I mean, it's been 2 years now where we've been kind of praying that he would get going and being the player we were all expecting him to be. So if the time is now and this is the beginning, I'm ready for it.
That's the best time to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Have a little mini Randy 2020. So that would be kind of cool.
Dude, that'd be cool as a St. Pete Pups postseason takeover. All kind of have Randy-esque postseason journey. So
that'd be awesome. That would be so cool. Also, shout out Harold. He hit a home run for the first time in 3 months, the day after his birthday or something like that. So shout out him. He got to 9 home runs really quick, and it was kind of odd. And then he hasn't hit one in 3 months, which is Harold's not a home run hitter, but he hit a big home run in that game. And maybe he's going to be swinging a little pop.
Perhaps they come in bunches.
Yeah, I'll take a little Harold 4 home run 2-weeker or something like that.
Against the Orioles, that'd be ideal. Twins, whatever, but Orioles, if he decides to hit them in bunches, it'd be the best time.
This is the biggest series in a couple of years. I feel this Orioles series.
It's a huge series.
I got goosebumps. I'm sweating. I got all the things.
It's a huge series. Just to round out who didn't do as good this week before we I think we're going to preview that Orioles series a little bit. But we have Randy, 2 for 20, 430 OPS. Unfortunate, but he's been hot for the past month, so it's all right. Luke Raley, another rough week, 3 for 17, 7 strikeouts. Christian Bethencourt was 1 for 11 with 7 strikeouts. not making a case to get as much playing time as Renee Pinto, but he's still playing defense and stuff. Renee Pinto threw a couple people out this week, though. So, also Taylor Walls and Oslavis Basabi.
He also couldn't find that wild pitch, though.
That was
So,
brutal.
I'm sorry to stop you, but that was was some not good showing.
That was tough. And it was like, oh, we escaped him. Oh, no, he's running home. We didn't escape anything. And then both our shortstops, Oslavis Basabi and Taylor Walls, both had sub 500 OPSs last week. So we'd like to see a little bit more production from one of them or both of them. Who cares?
More Oslavis. I want to see him get it going. I want to see Taylor Walls' defense. If he gets any offensive production for me, that's already a bonus. But I just want to see that Gold Glove or shortstop defense out of him.
Also,
that's all I want.
Yeah. Also, we are not. Kevin Cash may listen to. He probably listens to the podcast. Stop playing as Vidal Brujan so much. Basabi and Taylor Walls are both better than Vidal Brujan, and especially he's kind of been platooning Basabi and Vidal Brujan for some reason. I don't know. Get Basabi in the lineup. Get Taylor Walls in the lineup. Do not get Brujan in the lineup. They're both better, and they need more at bats than him.
Yeah, I feel like we kind of wrote him off a little bit. At least I did, Vidal Brujan. But, there's kind of been a trend when we start getting on somebody on this podcast. They get a little fired up. So maybe this is Brujan's wake-up call. We'll see.
All right, so this is the moment. The Rays do have 3 at Minnesota. It probably will be a good series. Minnesota's been playing pretty good baseball. I think we see Gray, Joe Ryan, and then someone else. But hopefully we can at least take 2 out of 3, if not sweep them. I think we're a better team than them, but they do have good pitchers to keep us in the game. And in the past, we've struggled against the Twins, even though we sweep them this year.
I would love to beat up on Joe Ryan. Just say, that's why we traded you.
Didn't Brujan do well against the Twins last year?
Maybe.
In Minnesota? I want to say he did. He hit a grand slam or something.
I kind of
Dude,
recall
I think
that.
he did, and we were
recall
just talking about it. I kind of
But
put 2 and 2
we
together.
were down by 9 runs, and he cut into the lead, but it was not worth it. I don't know. But so to compare, the Orioles are hosting the Cardinals, who have actually been playing kind of good baseball recently. So hopefully we can at least get a game from the Cardinals against the Orioles.
Birds.
Yeah, Battle of the
come
Birds.
on, Cards.
Yeah, maybe take 1 out of 2. But we, as a podcast and as the Tampa Bay Rays fandom, I'm personally hoping that we can somehow make it 2 games back by the start of that series. But if it's 3, it is what it is. But so starting Thursday, the Tampa Bay Rays will be heading into Camden Yards. Thursday night, 7:15, televised nationally on Fox. We will be seeing the Tampa Bay Rays send out Aaron Savali and the Baltimore Orioles sending out Kyle Bradish. Kyle Bradish has a great season. Savali has had 1 good start last week, 1 not so good start last week, so hopefully he can hone it in and give us a banger that day. And then Friday night, hate to say this to you guys, but Apple TV will be the broadcast.
I think I'm going to have to get the free trial.
Yep, might have to do it. We will be sending out Zach Eflin versus Jack Flaherty. Feel good about that pitching matchup. Really feel good about that one. Then Saturday, Tyler Glasnow will be taking a bump against young Grayson Rodriguez. Troppenheimer will be taking his boom explosion over to Camden Yards. Feel good about that, the way Glasnow's been pitching. And then Sunday, when the Rays hopefully look to complete their sweep of the Orioles, we'll be sending Zach Littell versus Dean Kramer. So these are some pretty good pitching matchups. What do you guys think is the key to the series this weekend?
We got to go 3-1. 3-1 at the least if we want any taste of the division title. If we can sweep, I'm dancing on clouds. But 3-1, anything else, and we'll kiss the division goodbye.
Yeah, I think if you lose this series,
even split,
you can kiss the division goodbye. I think for the game specifically, though, the Rays need to get on the starters early. They need to score runs early, play with the lead, because I think if you're tied or you're down a couple runs, 1 or 2 in any of these games, I just think the Orioles bullpen, like the Rays, is good enough to where they're not going to let the Rays come back. So I think getting on them early, and you got a couple favorable matchups in between there. So that's my biggest key for a Rays series win.
I'll also say clean baseball. Catchers, you guys are listening. I know you guys are listening. Pinto, Betancourt, no pass balls this week. Please cover those up. No errors. A lot of these younger guys have kind of been a little messy lately, so clean baseball. Baltimore is, I'm just going to say it, they're the best of the best. I love you, Baltimore. You guys are so good. So we have to play pretty much perfect baseball to take this series.
Baltimore's really good. They got a lot of young studs, but I'm with Will. I think getting on and making starting pitchers work early is the key to the Rays. When they're taking pitches, when they're not doing first pitch ground outs, because a lot of those Baltimore pitchers are these sinker ball pitchers, and that's where we get in trouble is when we're swinging early and grounding out. We need to make these pitchers work. I think another key is left-handed batters. Josh Lowe, Brandon Lau, Aranda, Luke Raley, they got that wall in right field that's very close. Obviously, we know that they push back the left field wall. So left-handers need to show up this series and pepper that wall, get some on the Utah Street. They got to, and I think if we can make these pitchers work, the Baltimore bullpen is just not as strong as it once was this season. Yeah. So if we can get to those middle relievers by the 5th, 6th, 4th, 7th, we got a good chance to scoring off those guys. Obviously, they don't have Bautista. That's another big key to this series, which is he's been someone who has killed us this season. So we just got to worry about Cano. And
let's make him miss Bautista this week.
Yeah, seriously. And I think, too, I'm talking to you, Randy. I'm talking to you, Brandon Lau. If you get in, whatever you do, I'm talking to you, too. You got to have quality at-bats, too. Like, I hate the three strikes and you're out, 1, 2, 3. You guys got to make these pitchers work, and you can't be taking bad at bats. You got to be patient at the plate, drawing some walks too. That's so big for a team like this, especially when sometimes the Rays can get into that. I know Brandon Lau has issues sometimes with striking out a bunch, so you need that.
He's fire hot right now.
Yeah, and I think on the pitching side, gotta limit the three ball counts and walks. I think this last week, especially from the starting pitching side, we've had the pitchers kind of get into bad counts, bad situations, and that's how Seattle and Boston were able to jump on these guys. We have to be able to get quick outs, get ahead in the count. If you're Glasnow, if you're ahead of the count, they are not hitting you. If you're Aaron Savali and you have it working, that curveball, if you get ahead of the count, they're not hitting you. So Eflin does a better job of this. He's struggled, and I think when he gets in good counts, he's unstoppable too. And it's just something that if pitchers stay in good counts, their lineup is young, it's experienced, they're very aggressive. I think we can get pitchers deep in the games and get a lead going into our bullpen if we stay away from those deep counts.
And if you're the Rays, if Zach Littell pitches another gem, please support him on Sunday. I'm begging you. I need to see something like the Tigers, an 8-0 dub, and Littell looks amazing. I need something like that. Love it.
Also, the Rays, they've been doing this recently, but the Rays are best when they have some swagger to them. Recently, the Rays, especially the lineup, you look, they're down 3, they're down 2, they're down 1, they're up. Doesn't matter. The lineup always looks like they're about to go up and give it 4. When they have that confidence, that swagger, and that mindset of we are going to score right now, they are so much better. And I think they just got to head to Camden Yards like they are the big dogs. Because in my opinion, I know the Orioles have a lot of young talent, but the Rays are the better team here. And they have to come with the mindset of they are the better team, and they are going to win these games and crush their hopes. The Rays got to get a little villainy for this series and get out of there and make all of Camden Yards hate them.
Yeah, and I don't want to jinx anything, but I agree. Like, the Rays are the better team. And I'm serious. If they win this series, I'd say you can lock them to win the East. I'm going to say it right now.
That's a big take.
They can beat the Orioles, overcome them. Especially a sweep, you're no longer anywhere behind them. You got the lead. You'd be almost like a game, right? I'm thinking. So, yeah, if they can win this series, the Rays will win the East, and that's what we want.
I like it. Do we want to do predictions right now?
Yeah,
for the
we'll
Rays?
do
We're
predictions.
going to switch our format up just a little
So,
bit.
yeah, I'll tell you guys, change it up a little bit because there's just so many things to predict. So, at the end of the show, I'll tell you the score from last week and the updated score for this week. So, let me pull up the predictions. Last week, we had a bunch of games, 7. I think that's the most we've had in any week that we've done bets on. So, Joel, you said the Rays would go 4-3, and you had Yandy Diaz get you a home run, so you get 1 point. Colby, you said 5-2, and the Rays did exactly that. Luke Raley, however, did not hit a blast, so you only get 1. I was -2. I said the Rays would go 4-3, but I did say Brandon Lau would get me a bomb, and he got me 2, so I get a point as well. So, this is big because we have such a big matchup. Joel, how are the Rays doing this week, and who hits a ding-dong?
All right. I'm going to go. There's no sense in being negative on the show sometimes. I'm going to go really positive this week. Points don't matter. I want to see the Rays do good. I'm going sweep against the Twins, 3 out of 4 against the O's. So I'm going 6-1.
Who's hitting you a blast?
Oh, my. Pinto, he's on fire, and it's going to keep
That
going.
is not a bad pick.
I'm going Pinto.
Joel picked that a couple weeks ago, and we were like, haha. Now it's like, all right, that's automatic.
Joel's been willing it into existence.
Joel has single-handedly turned around the catching play for the Tampa Bay Rays.
You're
With their positivity.
welcome.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go, man, I kind of think I should take a negative approach because
It's not worth it, man.
I just want maybe because I know they'll get fired up and they'll
we got to
prove me
be
wrong.
real. We got to be real.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say they're a little too focused on the Orioles. They go 1-2 against the Twins, and I think they go 2-2 against the Orioles.
Wow.
And I hate to say it, but I think I'm gonna.
I think you're
I'm
right,
gonna
but
be
it hurts.
honest. But I like when the Rays get fired up after what we say and they prove me wrong. But here's one thing I am gonna do. I am gonna say that Randy Arozarena is gonna hit a home run. He's back, baby. He is going to turn into the 2020 postseason, and it's a perfect time to do it against the Orioles. And he might even hit 2. He might even have not like 2 in the week. He might have like a two home run type game.
I could see
Give
him,
it to me.
He might go off in that Orioles
No.
series. That's big baseball.
I was going to pick him, man.
There, you can double dip.
No. All right. We've won 3 in a row. If we win all 7 this week, that's a 10-game winning streak. Just saying. Ha. I'm gonna say 6-1, but we're sweeping the Orioles and we are losing 1 to the Twins. Probably the Joe Ryan game. I think he's coming back for revenge.
Don't know, man. We gotta show him who's made the better trade there.
That's funny. And also off the IL, give me Isaac Paredes, or not the IL, off the
You scared me there.
the bruise that he has on his hand. He's gonna go off.
Yeah, I like it. Also, shout out to the Rays. They on the 10th of September they won their 2000th win in
That's
franchise
so
history.
perfect in the anniversary year.
And I'm pretty sure
Wow.
the
Storybook.
Rays won 2000 and like the Bucs won their 300th like on the same day.
That's what
Lightning, where's your win number at?
Yeah.
Let's get another one.
They probably have way more. Yeah.
So some round number.
That's a
Let's
little
get it.
foreshadowing.
Yeah,
at
shout
the
out
end
the
of
Rays,
show
man.
For the biggest day.
Yeah, we'll get to that soon. If you're itching for it, it's coming. You just have to keep listening because we're going to get into some football now. We had an action-packed weekend, baby. Your USF Bulls, baby. They finally get a dub, the first one of the season after losing 11 straight. 11 straight, can you believe it? But they finally get back into the win column against Florida A&M. And, man, Chef Golesh again with another great coaching job. Bulls win this game 38-24. Byron Brown goes 20 of 34 with 197 yards and 3 touchdowns. Duke led the way for rushing with 40 yards. And, man, I got to say, man, that first half was something special. I don't think we mentioned it last week, but the tempo, we've seen it around in a lot of games and from a lot of teams because of the new clock rule. But, man, the Bulls run that tempo to perfection, and it worked out in the first half. And, again, Golesh goes for it on fourth down a bunch. He's showing he's got some guts, man. He's got some guts. And I think there was one that was like 4th and 7, and they went for it, and it paid off. So, yeah, they win that game 38-24. Crowd was rocking. What did you guys think about the game?
Dude, it was so good. I love Golesh. Like, is he my favorite coach in all of football right now? Yes.
All right.
He is. Them going for it on fourth, you can't even blink when they're playing. Like, I love their unis. I'm in love with the Bulls. Are they my favorite football team right now? Yes.
Yeah, man, they're fun to watch, man.
They're a must-watch. If you have to find where the heck CBS Sports is on your television programming, find it.
It's worth it. I'll tell you guys why we won this game and why I was so encouraged. Coming off that Western Kentucky game, we had a lot of costly turnovers and mistakes. The Bulls forced 5 turnovers and committed 0. No interceptions, no fumbles.
Yeah, the turnovers were huge, and I want to say I believe 3 of them came in like the first quarter alone. So there was a lot of talks about FAMU's quarterback, kind of a journeyman, but that he was good at taking care of the football, but picked him off a bunch. It made him look silly. I can't even lie. Yeah, great showing by the defense, and again, turnovers win games, and it's kind of a common theme for Tampa Bay sports. Another sneak peek, but yeah, great job by the defense. One thing I didn't like, though, there's a lot of penalties, a lot towards the end of the first half. So USF, you got to clean that up. I feel like they kind of got the wind taken out of them, especially with their tempo towards the end, and it kind of bled in the second half when FAMU didn't make it too much of a game, but they kind of stormed back a little bit.
The Bulls had a lot in the first week, too, as far as penalties go, right? Mm-hmm. I think we were talking they need to clean that up. So 2 weeks now they need to clean it up.
That's what happens. It's a very young team.
Yeah, young team, first 2 games.
Yeah. You mentioned.
I trust you, Golesh.
Let Chef Golesh cook.
Let him cook.
All right, so you mentioned the crowd. I just want to say shout out USF Bulls fandom because on Saturday night there was 36,495 people at Raymond James. That's a really good turnout.
That's gonna be basically a sellout in their new stadium coming soon.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a huge crowd, especially when, like I said, you were on an 11-game losing streak. You lose last week, and you're playing HBCU Division I FCS team. I mean, the odds aren't looking great for that being a good game and a big turnout, but shout out again. There are fans out there. Believe it or not, there are fans out there who love USF and are supporting them, and you should too. If you live in the Tampa Bay area and you're not a fan of them, you're wrong.
Support your local team because you live in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, it's evidence that Alex Golesh has changed the whole energy around the USF program. So that's more valuable than, honestly, any win he could get this season. It's changing the whole energy and vibe around the program that seemed to be really dead. So it's great to see.
I am excited for these next 4 years. Will I be in the stands for their first home game on campus at the new stadium? Let's plan on it.
Yeah, I'd say we got to.
Yeah, let's plan on it.
They approved it too. Like, let's go, man. Front row tickets. One of the fans that was there, this is some interesting news, wide receiver Michael Brown-Stevens of your USF Bulls has a pretty famous uncle. His name is John Legend. That is right. John Legend was at the Bulls game. We got celebrities coming out. Like, talk about how much this program has changed. We got celebrities coming to the game,
That's Tom Brady, man. Tom Brady's the reason celebrities are coming to Tampa now.
I know, but I love to see that. I know it's, like, family-related, but still, the fact that he showed up to support, man, that's awesome.
He's uncle, not dad. He had to seek it out, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, that's what I'm
John
saying.
Legend.
Like, and you know how everybody, like, you know, everybody has uncles and cousins who aren't actually related. Like, you know, sometimes, like, you know, it could be distant or might not be blood related, but the fact they still showed up, man, that's huge. Yeah, I think.
Move on.
I think there's USF got a bye week next week, Joel?
Oh.
Oof. I mean, you're putting me on the spot. I don't know.
Dude, what?
You're going to be
We're going to be there.
You got me in a tough spot. on. I'm like, oh, was I supposed to know that?
Breaking news. You will have TB3 correspondents at multiple college football games this Saturday.
I thought you meant the next week. I'm sorry.
sorry,
TB3 Nation, I failed you.
Me, Colby, will be headed into the swamp for when the Gators host the Tennessee Volunteers and topple them to beat them for like the 28th straight time in the swamp. I will be in the building, and then these guys will.
Yeah, we're going to be storming the field when USF wins this one.
Let me tell you, me and Joel, we're going to the USF Bulls home game this week, September 16th, 3:30 p.m. If you didn't know, it's on ABC, nationally televised. The Bulls are playing the Alabama Crimson Tide. Not the JV team, not the club team, the actual Crimson Tide. Nick Saban's leading the way, and it is going to be electric. And look, man, this is a tough game, but we know from Alex Golesh's past as an offensive coordinator at Tennessee, putting up, 52 points?
Yeah.
52 points on Alabama.
I know
you're giving
and
me
a W.
hope.
And I know you don't have the same talent that you did. You had Hendon Hooker, who was playing lights out. Jalen Hyatt. You don't got that. You got Byron Brown, and
some dogs.
What's his name?
You got Naquan Wright.
Naquan Wright. He played really well. There's a gritty white guy, gritty wide receiver for the Bulls. He wears like 38 too, but he's a gym rat, man. He's gritty. He's getting out there making plays. So you don't have the same caliber of offense, but man, if Chef Golesh could cook up just one gem.
They're going to be making a movie about it one day.
You could go back 50 years from now and go, why is USF the best team in the SEC? It's because Chef Golesh beat Alabama in Raymond James Stadium.
You could be a part of a movie if you're in the building for USF Alabama. Think about that.
I'm going to be one of the extras storming the field again.
I know, and yeah, that's the thing too. Like, there's so little opportunities, if you think about it, where you have a real chance of seeing your team get an upset and storm the field. Like, we're so used to success. I know Florida's struggling a little bit. Florida State struggled, but now I think they'll probably be on the rise again. It just happens, man. Especially in Florida, it's hard to be consistently bad unless you're Miami.
Hey, they had a big win this week.
Big win. We'll get to that too. But yeah, so if you guys want to go out, support, tickets for the upper level are like as low as like $15, $20. You can see Alabama, see a big time powerhouse school. So yeah, come out and support. Come out and support the Bulls. Man, I don't want to do this because I've just been hyping them up, but probably have to get the prediction time.
Let's unblow the balloon a little bit.
After I got you all riled up, maybe
you
about
got
the
me
Bulls.
riled up.
After I gave you a chance to believe, now it's time to be honest. So I guess, Joel, we'll start with you. How do you think the Bulls are doing this Saturday? You'll be in attendance.
All right. I'm gonna go. Bulls get 20. So I did this backwards. So it's gonna be like 63-20 Alabama. It's gonna be ugly.
Colby, what are you thinking?
I think USF can hang in there for a little bit, give you guys a little show. Give me
appreciate
Alabama 41, USF 21. No, Alabama 48, USF 21. Sorry. And while we're doing this, I guess, no, we're still talking college football. We got this. We'll talk more.
Yeah. Look.
There's not much from the USF FSU again.
Look, Bulls Nation. You want me to tell you there's hope? I'm going to say there is. There's always hope in college football. It's any given Saturday. I think there's more parity in college football than there is in the NFL. And with that being said, give me Alabama 56, USF 21. Okay,
it'll be a hard game to watch, but it'll be worth it.
And look, the way USF's been playing in the first half, and they're going to be riled up. They're going to be riled up. I'm thinking this could be a close game going into half. But I just think at the end of the day, talent will usually win out, and I I just can't do it. I'm trying to win predictions, and I would be silly if I picked the Bulls. I'm sorry. I'm going to be rooting for them. I'm going to be there, but it'd be silly to pick them. So, yeah, Alabama 56, USF 21.
The other reason you got to go Alabama is because they're mad this week with their loss to Texas.
I would have felt way better if Alabama was
They're,
coming off a win.
they're coming in here when the coach is trying to do some trying to do some lessons.
Nick
on them
Saban
and
had them
punishment.
running laps all week. And
For sure. They are well coached this week.
Yeah, again, there's one thing, being a former college football player, that sucks, and it's losing. And especially those practices, the first couple of days, makes you sick to your stomach. They run you a lot. You're tired. And then, dude, it just demoralizes you a lot. So, and you just never want to lose again. You never want that feeling. So, I know Alabama, a lot of these guys are going to the NFL. A lot of these guys are hungry. Yeah, and now your playoffs is on the line. You lost one game, you can't afford to lose another. And you especially can't afford to lose to the USF Bulls, who by all means should not be very tough of an opponent. I hate to say it, but it is the truth. They're a young team. So, yeah, if we were coming into this week after Alabama beat Texas close, like I'm talking about maybe even overtime where Alabama got a last-second field goal, I'm telling you there'd be a legit chance, best case scenario. That's just a perfect recipe for an upset. But the fact that Alabama lost and they didn't play well on top of that, and they came back, took the lead in the third, but after that it was all Texas. So yeah, man, it's not going to be good. But I just think you know what, this is a good coaching opportunity as well for Golesh. Like, get these guys to believe, get these guys to play hard, and just see what your offense can do. See what these guys can do against probably the toughest opponent you'll face in the next 2 years. And, just see what you got and build for the future and show guys like, hey, big-time football, man. This is how much better we got to be after this. So big opportunity for the Bulls. Me and Joel will be there. Let's get to
USF. I got one request. Score the first touchdown.
That'd be so
just
good.
get them a little antsy for a second. Come on now. Just score first. It doesn't even have to be – that could be your only touchdown. But if you score first, you were winning for some of the things. Yeah, let's get over to the other Florida teams. They both were Cupcake City this week. But – the Florida Gators needed some Cupcake City. They were able to beat McNeese State 49-7. Obviously, talent gap, all that. But the Gators needed some mechanical tweaking of the offense and the special teams, especially. Defenses look good both weeks. But the Gators only had 4 penalties for 20 yards, no turnovers by any of the starters. There was a fumble by like the 5th-string running back at the end of the game, but I'm not going to count that. And then, obviously, the run game, very maligned how it disappeared against Utah. 327 rushing yards for the Gators in this game. Hopefully they can translate some of that to this upcoming weeks. And that's about it. Special teams still not good, by the way. So that's still an area of concern.
Yeah, shout out to McNutt State. They got a bag for sure, getting to play Florida at Florida. You know how the bigger schools pay for all that and their travel and stuff. So shout out McNutt, you got a bag, but yeah, not a formidable opponent. I did not really catch a whole lot of this game, but shout out to Florida for getting the dub.
I'm a Florida fan, and by the late third quarter, I was switching that thing off and paying attention to Texas Alabama. That was a great game, and ours was over, and the starters were out. And let's just move on. Honestly, nothing. Big game coming up. Do we want to predict right now?
Yeah, well, we should talk. Well, yeah, we'll talk about it right now too. So, yeah, and jump in whenever you feel the need to. You can kind of break down the matchup. Florida will be hosting number 9 Tennessee inside Gainesville under the lights, 7 p.m. So that's actually a pretty big game to watch. Mm-hmm. Tennessee, although they played Virginia the first week, got an easy dub, and then this week they played Austin Peay.
They struggled.
Let's go Peay. They struggled. They won 30-13. I know it's a couple scores, but Austin Peay, man, I mean, goodness sakes, like you should be putting up 50 against these suckers. And I didn't watch any of this game, honestly. I was watching.
Well, and also Virginia this week lost to James Madison. So it's not – Virginia is Power 5 by label, but they're not really a Power 5 level team.
No.
So we've not really seen anything proven by Tennessee.
Yeah, so this is going to be a big game. Tennessee's biggest test by far for Joe Milton, who claims he can throw the ball in the air over 100 yards. Can you believe that?
He's going to throw
Can you
4
believe it?
interceptions this week to the Florida Gator defense because the swamp is the boogie land for the Tennessee Volunteers. I am going to look up right now. But Tennessee has not won in the swamp in a long time, and I don't plan on being there for the next time it happens.
Yeah.
It's a good recipe for Florida because Tennessee, they haven't played a big school yet, so they think they're up high in the sky right now. But they're going to be proven once they play a fellow SEC school that they're not all that they thought they were.
Yeah, I was speaking to a fan while you're looking that up, Colby, and they were telling me that there's just certain matchups in college football, and the Gators just play well against Tennessee. They rise to the occasion. So better time than ever for the Gators to step up against Tennessee. And I just think for the Gators, at least in my opinion, being a non-biased fan to the most extent, this could decide your season based on just how well it's going to go. I don't think the Gators are a playoff team by any means. I don't think they'll have a shot at the SEC title game. But I do think if you can pull off an upset, you could make this season 7-5, 8-4, maybe. But you lose this game, you get blown out, you look sloppy, you make mistakes like you did against Utah. I'm saying 4-8.
Yeah.
It's just like it's either or.
It's a character-building game for
It's
sure.
It's a huge game, and for research purposes, the last time Tennessee won in the swamp was 2003. That's the year I was born.
I almost guessed that, but I didn't want to sound stupid.
So, the key for the Gators is get the running game going. Graham Mertz has shown to be efficient both these games. The running game is the key. We have great running backs, and another big development here is Florida Gators starting center who has not played in the first 2 games, Kingsley Ekamo something. He is going to be playing and starting this Saturday. So that should be a huge boost for the offensive line, which is the group that needed the biggest boost. So that's making me feel positive. Obviously, Joe Milton, we can't let him get big downfield passes, but I do think if we're able to get pressure on him, which we've been able to do in both games, I think getting him flustered and getting him rattled under that stadium, which is going to be absolutely an insane environment. I'm so excited to witness it under the lights and stuff. I think the Gators really do have a shot to win this game, and I think Utah. Hopefully, we'll see if Utah was what the Gators are, if it was just a bad game on the road week 1. That's what we're going to learn this Saturday. The Gators really need to win this game. There's no moral victories, but even if it's like a scratch claw Tennessee win, that's not something that you, as a Gators fan, I'll be ashamed of. But I really think we can win this game, and I'm really hoping we do.
Yeah, I mean, an upset here kind of shocks the college playoff world because I think Tennessee is kind of the dark horse to win it all and even kind of dethrone Georgia. But, oh, man, I'm not. After, I'm sorry. I'm trying to be so non-biased because I don't want to be like, oh, the Gators suck, this and that. After what they showed me in Utah, I just have a hard time believing that they have really any chance to win. But I do agree this really decides your season.
I don't think it decides your season either.
I mean, if they were to win this game, it would be like one of the golden stars of the season.
It would be, but there's plenty of opportunities, and it's not. We're not. I think to say this is going to derail us. If it's a blowout, if it's a crap fest, maybe, but it's not. This isn't we're not the type of team where we're going to write ourselves off early in the season. We even saw it with FSU last year. They got multiple losses early, and they ended up feeling positive because they finished strong. So I think that's a little dramatic, but a win would be nice is all I'm saying.
Yeah, I just think the difference with Florida State is they played 3 teams that were ranked at the time, and they were all within 1 score. One was 10, but they should have made that field goal to make it 1 score. I just think with the Gators, it was really on coaching, and when you're down by not a crazy amount, and you just have no tempo, no determination to march down the field and just kind of sloppy play calling, all the errors, the 2 threes on the field. I hate to bring it up again. That's what concerns me, and that's why I just think this is big for them. So with that being said, Joel, what's your prediction?
All right, I've been trying to do the math in my head. I'm like, what is football math? I'm going to go 40, 45, 20, 27. They're going to get 2 field goals, 27. 45-27, Tennessee.
Okay.
I don't hate that score. That's actually that's a very plausible one, but the Gators are winning. So.
I think Tennessee's going to get a field goal, so I probably should have gone extra field goal, but I'll stick with what I got.
I'm going to be non-biased. I think the Gators they'll step up, but I just don't see Tennessee losing. I'm going to say Tennessee wins 34-20. 34-20 Tennessee wins.
Gentlemen, it's time to buckle up. It's time to realize that this is college football. This is the swamp. This is the
Gators
best
fans in the house.
This is the best atmosphere in college football. It's going to be so loud. Joe Milton's going to be so flustered. He's coming from this soft Big Ten stuff. He's never seen anything like that. Michigan's not even loud. It's not like the swamp. The swamp is going to be the key factor in this. The defense is going to step up. The offense is going to make enough plays. The Gators are going to win 28-24.
28-24, and you will be storming the field.
I'm in the upper deck, so probably not. But
you'll make it down there in time.
Depending on the scores, you could always just run down.
I mean,
they
storm it for like 15 minutes, so you'll get down there in time.
Yeah, if the Gators can pull away, maybe we'll be storming the field. Maybe I'll get down there by the middle of the fourth quarter.
Tennessee game last year where they stormed the field, they were down there for like an hour.
Yeah, that's true. They took the goalpost and everything.
Yeah, and let's get to. I've kind of tiered this of who we're talking about based on their record. So right now, the best in the business,
based on your fandom,
the Sunshine State champs. Hey, the other teams, if you want to step up and win and take that number 1 spot, you'll get to be talked about last. But
there's not much to talk about here.
The Florida State Seminoles, man.
I wrote down in my notes, FSU is very good at football.
Yeah, FSU, they are really good at football. Look, I absolutely hate weeks like this where everybody seems to play a cupcake, a nobody, and that's what FSU got. They got Southern Miss. Brett Favre has bankrupted that school completely. But, no, Florida State wins 63-13, and I said 66-13, so I was 1 field goal off. But no, sometimes it happens. Or no, sorry, other way around. FSU won 66-13. I said 63-13. So I'm a little mistaken there. But you know, it was a little bit of a frustrating game at the beginning. Honestly, FSU kind of struggled to start that game. A couple 3-and-outs, and then again some drop passes that didn't please me too much. Johnny Wilson, again, like I said, that dude catches the hardest passes. But if he's wide open running a slant, dude, you might as well not throw it to him because he'll drop it. And then seemed like
thinking too hard.
Seemed like Mike Norvell was pretty upset and was just forcing them to score because they went for it on 4th down like a bunch in that first quarter. Jordan Travis with some amazing plays out there, getting rushed, breaks Southern Miss's contain. Runs backwards for like 70 yards, throws a screen on one to toe Philly for a first down. Then another one, he scrambles around and gets the first down with his legs. So, again, they're only like 10-yard gains, but he ran around for like 50 yards in the backfield. So you love to see that. Keon Coleman, man, kind of made his statement game last week against LSU's 3 touchdowns. He scores another one, and he gets like a little screen pass and for like 4 yards and hurdles somebody, and then he's like, you know what, watch me do it again. And on the very next play, they throw it to him again, and he hurdles another guy. So he's just all over the place. Running backs, I think one thing to take away from that game is Florida State has a deep running back room. They have 302 total yards for the game, 8.3 yards per carry. You just could not stop them. And their backups, I mean, even their 4th, 5th stringers were making some huge runs. So you love to see that as well. Defense shut them down. They're locked down. They're good. Another thing to note, they got a tight end He doesn't play that much. Florida State does. That dude's 300 pounds, and he ran for like a 20-yard touchdown. He's massive. It's
That's
like, why don't you
insane.
put him in the block on like the goal line? Because I feel like Florida State struggles a lot when they're like first and goal, and put that dude in as an extra blocker. So, yeah, you'd like to see that. I think not too much more to talk about Florida State. They play Boston College next week.
Battle of the Garnet and the Gold, huh?
Battle Garnet
That's
and the
one of
Gold.
that's the game where you're like, which team was my team again?
Boston College, really. The trap game? No, I don't think so. I think Florida State, though, they got to be a little careful because I know you're going to be looking forward to Clemson the week after that, but got to lock down, got to be a winnable team. So that's on at 12 p.m. for anybody who is wondering to see the GOATs, future playoff team. So, Joel, what do you think? What do you think Florida State's going to do this weekend?
I mean, they're going to win because it's Florida State. I'm going to go 38-17 Florida State. It's going to be good. It's going to be good.
Colby?
Give me, I think they might struggle for a little bit for a quarter or something. Give me 38-14.
You don't want.
You said 38-17?
Yeah, I said yeah. You don't
No.
want. You don't want them to have that. You can
Sorry,
do it.
no, I want 41-14.
Oh man, it's battle of the do they get the field goal? Don't they get the field goal?
You said 48-14?
41-14.
41-14.
That makes sense. There's more field goals.
Yeah, they might kick a couple field goals, and you're like, why are they not scoring touchdowns?
Yeah, I think FSU, they're going to keep that streak up of scoring 40 points in every game. So, yeah, give it to me 49-10 FSU. One more thing before we talk some more college football, just to look back. Last week, Joel, you said FAMU would beat USF 38-27.
I'm so glad I was wrong.
Colby, you said USF would win 45-21, and I said USF would win 27-14. So nobody was really close there.
And I was the only one not
As far as
giving USF
scoring.
love?
Yeah, I don't know. I looked at
Weird.
that after doing the scoring. I looked at that. I was like, wow, Joel fired him up. Last week for the Gators, Joel, you said Florida would win 34-24. Colby, you said 38-10, and I said UF 28-0. So I guess that is a positive for Florida fans. I mean, we all kind of didn't give them a whole lot of points, and they scored 49. So
They scored on like their first 7. Like they were 7 for 7 to start the game. It was a pretty comforting game for me, honestly.
yeah. And then Seminoles, Joel, you said 45-27. Colby, you said 52-7, and I said 63-13. One field goal off.
That's
It would have got me
brutal,
2
man.
points. So
I'm sorry.
I like how accurate it was. I feel like I was really close this week and a couple others. So I guess we can go around, kind of just talk a little bit about what college football games stuck out to you this week. I feel like there was a lot. Alabama and Texas was a big one.
Yeah, we kind of.
I guess we can go into that right away. I just think.
I think the biggest thing about this was Alabama. They did not look like a contender. Unfortunately, I'd been hearing is Alabama is going to have this nasty defense, this nasty trench game, offensive and defense. The running game is going to be good. It's kind of going to be like old Alabama, like your early 2010s Alabama, and they just did not show that. I mean, there was a lot of times they are getting punked by the defensive line by Texas. Texas is able to they were able to run pretty good off of them. The deep shots obviously killed them. Quinn Ewers looked great. Texas really does look like a contender. I think they're the best team in the Big 12 by far. That's what I saw. I think good Texas, bad Alabama, and I don't know how that's going to pan out in the future.
Yeah, I think Jaden Milroe is a little bit of a problem at quarterback. He reminds me of Sims they had a couple years ago. He can run the ball a little better, but I know he's young. His decision making just doesn't seem to be there. And I feel like he probably frustrates Saban a lot. But, yeah, if he's quarterback, I just think, man, I mean, again, I'm never going to, rule out Alabama because they're just that good of a team. They got probably the greatest head coach of all time. But, yeah, it's not looking good for Bama, especially with the tough SEC schedule. And, again, dude, look, Quinn Ewers is a dog. Excuse me, that guy is a dog, but – dude, I just think Texas, man. First off, I hate Steve Sarkisian. I think the dude's a bum, certified bum. And look, you got a great quarterback, a generational quarterback, and you guys were doo-doo last year. And I just think this team, that's just kind of how Big 12 football is. I think you beat Alabama, and then in a couple weeks they'll lose to like Texas Tech in overtime or something like that. So
That feels
I'm
so
not
much like Texas.
I know
Oh,
that's
yeah,
like
I
Texas
know.
football, man. I'm just not a believer in them, and it's always like we're back. Well, I don't know. You gotta show me something. And I'd say the biggest takeaway I think for Texas fans, if you're listening and you're a Texas fan, doubt it, but I think holding Alabama to 24 points is pretty big too, considering how bad Big 12 defenses tend to be. So holding them to 24 points, that's pretty good.
They're
It's pretty
building
good for the
themselves
Longhorns.
up to be a SEC team. They look like an SEC team.
Right.
And obviously, I'm an SEC stan through and through, but I mean the SEC has not looked as dominant this season, and Texas did look like an SEC team. I think they're going to be a great addition to the squad.
Mm-hmm.
Are you guys ready for this? So Texas plays Wyoming this week, and
It's a sneaky chat.
for
game.
my dad and my grandparents, Wyoming proud. Dad born in Wyoming. Wyoming's gonna win.
The Cowboys.
It is. Wyoming beat Texas Tech earlier this season. It's a sneaky game. So.
Really?
Yeah, they did. They beat them in
Wow.
overtime. That was a crazy
And
game.
Texas Tech almost beat Oregon.
I don't think I've ever seen Wyoming
Yeah,
or heard
it's-
of Wyoming winning a
that's-
game.
That's Josh Allen's alma mater, man.
Really?
Yeah, that's the crazy thing. Like I said, the Big 12, like you look, Texas Tech loses to Wyoming, and then they almost beat Oregon. I think Oregon clearly is a better team than Wyoming. But yeah, like you said, dominating conferences. Maybe the SEC isn't too dominant, but one conference that is the Pac-12. They do it again 2 weeks in a row. Starting out at 12 p.m. Eastern time on Saturday, the Colorado Buffaloes get another win. Coach Prime, they're 2-0. They're ranked 18th, I want to say. They're climbing up. Is it time to believe in them?
It's a fun bandwagon to ride. I'm riding that saddle.
I'm pretty sure they have USC soon, and that's going to be.
It's
a
the week
fun
after
game.
this. This
Yeah.
week they play Colorado State, and Colorado State stinks.
They've been doing these rivalry games early this season, it feels
Oh
like.
no!
Yeah.
They're at Oregon in 2 weeks, and then they're at home versus USC. That's a tough back to back. If they can go 1-1, they're in good shape. But yeah, I love to watch them play. I love Shadur Sanders. It was a very scrappy game. Nebraska Big Ten that game up to the max, but they won, and they're proving that they can win games like that is impressive in itself.
Yeah, I think Nebraska, if they played right into their hand in the first half, playing a sloppy Big Ten game, not a lot of points and a whole lot of defense. But yeah, the CU turned it around the second half, and there's that one play, man. Shador rolling out, just has all the time in the world, and like stepping out of bounds, throws it cross-body to a guy running the opposite way in the end zone for a touchdown. This guy is special, and I think we didn't see a lot of him because he was at Jackson State. But, man, I'm thinking, if there's a certain team that maybe doesn't do so well, I mean, it might not be a chance at Caleb Williams, but
that certain team
Shador,
is going 20-0 and winning the Super Bowl. So.
that's a plan. Another sneak peek. That's a plan. But, yeah, man, I think there's going to be a lot of, like, mock draft change and stuff because I think Shadur Sanders, I mean, he could be the Heisman. Right now, he's my favorite. Honestly, he's my favorite for the Heisman.
He has pro in his blood. So.
And he's got pro in his blood. Only thing with him, and I know Dion kind of came out and defended him, Coach Prime, sorry, but he does hold on to the ball a lot, way too long. Got a bunch of Nebraska did get a bunch of sacks against them, so you can't do that in the NFL. You get like less than 3 seconds on most plays. So yeah, gotta fix that if you want to play in the pro level, but. It's kind of easy now. CU has an amazing O-line. That's the thing. Like, they just give him all the time in the world on so many plays.
That's kind of scary. Like, if he comes to the Bucs, we can't promise that kind of time.
Well, yeah, he's in the Pac-12, so he's not going to be seeing defenses that are going to be getting pressure on him. And moving on, Texas A&M, you guys are disappointments, and you make me sick. How are you going to let Miami drop 48 points on you in front of 20,000 people in Hard Rock Stadium? And you guys have like 5-star talent all over the field, all over the place. You guys have such a good roster, and you just continue to underachieve and be disappointments.
Let me just say this right now. I've been holding it in because this fires me up so much. Miami was doing a buy one, get one free
it's
offer.
Crazy, bro.
Miami was
That's
doing
awesome.
a buy one, get one free offer for tickets because they stink and they can't fill a crowd. And Texas A&M, you win one game, and I don't know why the media was going crazy. Oh, Texas A&M's back. They got a complete team. They got a real quarterback this year. And you get embarrassed. And look, the U is not back. They're not back. They're not some good team because they beat Texas A&M. Texas A&M, you stink. And honestly, they're in such a pickle right now because they're paying Jimbo Fisher so much money. And I don't know what magic he had at Florida State, but it is gone. It is
Jameis Winston.
That's the thing. He had Jameis Winston, Tampa Bay Buccaneers legend. We'll remember that one. What they?
TB3.
TB3. That's why we were named after him.
Yeah,
also not true, but something's wrong with him, and he cannot seem to figure it out. And I'd say if I was Texas A&M, can him. Get rid of him because you are in some deep doo-doo if you're losing to Miami. Look, they are not a good team by any means. This team is not good. And you got almost 50 put up on you. That's ridiculous. That's unacceptable, and that shouldn't happen for Texas A&M. They stink. They're done. Write them off. Write them off.
And also, they're going to play Alabama close because that's always what they do. Also, in a battle of two of the best, if not the best, uniforms in college football, Ole Miss beats Tulane 37-20 in a game that was back and forth in the first half. Unfortunately, Tulane did not have their star quarterback, Michael Pratt, so that kind of taints the victory a little bit. But Ole Miss went on the road, got a ranked victory. I got to give them credit. And also, my goodness, Tulane's uniforms are the best in college football, and if you disagree, you're wrong.
I'm sorry, but Week 1 USF uniforms.
Yeah,
would like
USF. I'm rocking with USF, baby.
The green and
I'm
blue.
going to Walmart this week, and I'm buying a USF shirt.
Dude, yeah, they're okay. Again, I hate Fanatics. The website's terrible. They'll never be our sponsors if we ever get advertising because they stink and I don't support them. But yeah,
Money talks.
Dude, you go on their website on Fanatics and they got nothing. And they got Adidas. And look, Adidas is slept on for jerseys, for athletic gear. And they got nothing on the website, man. I was like trying to get a nice little fit. I had to go Dick's Sporting Goods, and they always mess up my packages, and they send them somewhere else. So, yeah, I do not like Fanatics. They had nothing on their website. But, yeah, back to the game. Ole Miss, I feel bad because I hate how this works. Like, if you're in the group of 5, you have to win out to have any chance 2 years in a row. So, Tulane had a great season last year, beat USC. And then this year they lose to Ole Miss, so there's no chance of making the playoffs for them. It's one thing I feel bad about. They didn't have their quarterback, but I just don't think the voting committee is going to look at that at all. So, I don't know. And I'm not high on Ole Miss either. Look, Lane Kiffin, you can say what you want about him. I think he's always good enough to get you a 9-3, 8-4 season, but he's never going to win it all for you. So, I like Dart, though.
He played really good. He's improved immensely, and that's if they want to make some noise in the SEC, it's going to be because he's improved so much.
I liked him at USC, and I love him at Ole Miss.
No, he looked really good.
Yeah, he looked really good. Back to the Pac-12. Washington State upsets Wisconsin, who was ranked number 19th, with Fickell, who used to coach for Cincinnati. If you were paying attention.
Luke Fickell's not the answer, man. He's obviously they should fire him now, right?
A bunch of whiteys aren't the answer at Wisconsin. They got no speed, and they're in the Big Ten.
That was kind of an awakening, but I think Wazoo might be a pretty good team. I was watching the end of that game. Their defense was like flying around. It was kind of crazy, and then their quarterback is like a D2 like stud transfer in his second year, improving day by day. So Wazoo can just add to that depth of the Pac-12. That was an impressive win for them.
I feel bad for them, too, because their coach at the end of the game was like, we deserve to be in the Power 5. They're like the last of the last two teams who aren't in from the Pac-12.
That's their own fault.
So I feel bad for them.
That's
they get this big win. But, yeah, them and Oregon State, you got to figure it out. You got to go somewhere.
That's crazy because Wazoo and Oregon State both got pretty good football teams this year.
They do. Yeah, that's another one. DJ Ulilangalele. That's the best way I'm going to pronounce it. Everybody kind of wrote him off at Clemson, but it seems like it was a Dabo issue. He's been playing well at Oregon State.
And then, just to wrap up some Pac-12, Oregon went on the road to Texas Tech, escaped a pretty – that place there's always one upset in that building. So that to get out of there with a win is good for them. I think Bo Nix did Bo Nix things. Here, I'll give it to you. 359 yards through the air and 40 through the rushing. And then there was one other Pac-12 that I was looking at. No, maybe not. Oh, Utah. Utah beat Baylor on the road. I would have been really angry.
Close.
Yeah, I would have been
close.
They still didn't have Cam Rising. I would have been so mad if y'all had just lost to Baylor after beating the Gators, just to make us look even worse. But good win for you guys. If you guys get Rising back, you guys can make plenty of noise because that's 2 pretty solid non-conference wins for them. Also, Baylor's 0-2, but still.
Yeah, Baylor's 0-2. They got upset by Texas State, who then got beat this week. Another big game that I thought was kind of big, nobody really talked about. Look, I'm trying to make the ACC relevant for certain reasons. But I was watching the ACC network. Believe it or not, there is an ACC network earlier this year. And they were saying that NC State was kind of a sleeper team to maybe go to the ACC championship, go undefeated because they don't play Clemson or Florida State. So 2 big, tough games. But they played Notre Dame, who's number 10 in the nation. And Notre Dame handled them mightily, 45-24. So it kind of seems like everybody's wrong about them, and NC State's kind of mid. And I'll never ever hop on the Notre Dame bandwagon.
See, I already hopped on it. I predicted them to the playoff, and I'm feeling good about it. The dude I ref with on Saturday, he's a Notre Dame fan. I told him, hey, man, I feel good about your team. Also, let's get to the other North Carolina team. North Carolina, App State. Very entertaining game for the second year in a row. Went to overtime again. North Carolina is able to pull out a win. That's a really big win for them because App State seems to give them trouble, and it was another banger of a game. So shout out App State and North Carolina.
Yeah, unless I'm not thinking of something else, that was all the big games from this week.
I think we got to get some Bucs.
Yeah, to look ahead though for next week on Saturday, 12 p.m. on ABC, you can catch the Florida State Seminoles at Boston College. 3:30 p.m. on ABC, you can catch Alabama and the South Florida Bulls. Then at 10 o'clock, if you like staying up late and watching football, you can see Coach Prime in Colorado take on Colorado State on ESPN, 10 o'clock.
That's like the cherry on top game for a great college football Saturday. So, I'm totally watching
I know,
that.
Dude. I love the Pac-12
Shout out Auburn. Shout out Auburn for beating Cal on the road. That was a weird freaking game, but shout out Auburn. They found a way to win at 11 p.m.
I just was late to the party and watched Rudy for the first time this week, so I'm all over that Notre Dame train right now.
Funny.
I'll never, dude. I won't buy in the Notre Dame.
Here, sneaky game for this upcoming week. Kansas State travels to Missouri at noon. Right? Yeah, at noon on SEC Network. Missouri, I don't know how they're going to be this year, but Kansas State is ranked 15th, and Missouri could pick up a huge win at home against Kansas State.
Yeah, that's a big game. Another sneaky game, BYU faces Arkansas at 7:30 on ESPN. Your main game, the national game, which really stinks, but it's on TV, Pitt at West Virginia. That's on ABC, so everybody gets to see that. And then I'd say the big game of the week, 7 p.m. on ESPN, the 11th-ranked Tennessee Volunteers take on the Florida Gators. So a lot of college football.
Did you guys bring up the LSU game?
Who's LSU playing?
LSU, Mississippi State. That's a good watch.
And South Carolina plays Georgia. If you're an SEC lover.
There's not great football this week, but there's some good ones.
Yeah, I'm okay because I'll be driving to Gainesville, so I won't be missing a lot of games while I'm driving because it's not crazy. But also, we're all going to be so jazzed up off our second win in a row against the Orioles from the Rays that we're going to be so excited to watch stuff up until the Rays-Orioles on Saturday that we're just going to have to watch football.
I think in this day and age, you just need at least 2 TVs.
Yeah, how many games did you watch
today
with your YouTube TV?
I had 8 games on at once, and I was watching all of them. Shout out YouTube TV. I will support you forever. I also just bought Sunday ticket from you guys, too, so huge fan of your product. Make sure to shout us out sometime. I'd love to have you as a sponsor. YouTube TV, what a great product, man. But yeah, I had 8 games at once, and yeah, there's just nothing more satisfying.
I'm
but that's
for it.
I guess thanks for listening, guys. Shout out.
Nothing really happened, right? No.
The Buccaneers open up the season against the Minnesota Vikings. Huge week of football. It wasn't just college football, baby. We had NFL football, week 1, so many matchups. But the moment you've been waiting for all year, your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It was at 1 p.m. on CBS. They open up the broadcast. It's the Skull. Absolutely electric. The Vikings are wearing their throwbacks from the 80s and 90s. And the Bucs, no expectations. Nobody expects this team to do anything. Everybody's saying they're tanking for Caleb Williams. I don't believe it. None of us believed it. We haven't believed it all offseason, all training camp, and the Bucs proved us right. They proved us right. So
it's because the baker's in the kitchen.
It is time to bake, and Baker baked up a masterpiece of a game. Let's get into it. The Minnesota Vikings get the opening kickoff, and the Bucs force them to go 3 and out. Absolutely flying around defense. Kalijah Cansey, the rookie, we've been talking about him. Maybe the next AD, maybe the next Aaron Donald, comes in and forces Kirk Cousins to throw a terrible pass to make him go 3 and out on their first drive. Next series is the Bucs, and we've seen in the preseason. All 3 opening drives have started out 3 and out, and it happened again. The Bucs went 3 and out. Next drive, though, Vikings starting to drive a little bit. Kirk Cousins on the 20 takes the snap and bobbles it on the ground, picked up by Joe Tyron Shoyinka. The Bucs get their first turnover of the game and of the season. The Bucs would drive down the field and kick a field goal. They would not. They would punt it. But again, the Vikings get the ball, and Kirk Cousins is sacked by Antoine Winfield. He would fumble. Antoine Winfield would pick him up himself, so he gets a sack, a forced fumble, and a fumble recovery. The Bucs would kick a field goal there, up 3-0. A little bit of a disappointing drive. They had it 1st and goal and could not capitalize. With a touchdown, they get a field goal. Later on in the second quarter, the Vikings finally get a series going, and they score a touchdown, wide open, broken coverage. That pass would go to That pass would go to Jordan Addison, the rookie, who we talked about. Definitely a mishandled coverage by the Bucs. They were in zone, and the Vikings would go up 7-3. Then the Bucs couldn't do anything and answer on offense. They would punt it away, and Minnesota would go up 10-3 with a field goal, starting to get a little concerned. But the Bucs, at the end of the first half, would drive down the field, and Baker Mayfield would throw a touchdown to none other than Mike Evans. What a drive that was. Mike Evans is back. He's saying, I don't care about the money. I care about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And the Bucs would tie the game 10-10. But Minnesota wasn't done. With seconds left in the first half, they would march down the field all the way to the goal line and try to score before the clock expired. But Christian Eisen, the rookie, would get an interception, and that would end the half. The Bucs had 3 turnovers in the first half, 2 fumble recoveries, and 1 interception by Christian Eisen. Enter the second half. The Bucs would drive down the field, led by Baker Mayfield, 16 plays, 75 yards, and that would be capped off by a touchdown to another rookie, Trey Palmer. Again, the preseason hero, the preseason MVP, Trey Palmer would get a touchdown, and the Bucs would go up 17-10. Then, the Vikings, they said, you guys aren't going to beat us. We read all the ESPN articles and the NFL articles. You guys aren't that good. So we're going to go down, score a touchdown of our own. We're not losing at home. We're not losing with the Skull. They tie up the game 17-7. Bucs, in the fourth quarter, though, would get another good drive, march down the field, and kick a field goal. It would be 20-17. The Vikings have 3 minutes left. They got to make something happen, and they cannot. The Bucs get a huge stop late in the game, but Baker Mayfield would need to run out the clock for the Bucs to win the game. 3 minutes and 52 seconds left. The Bucs, 3rd and short, need a first down. It's got to happen. Baker Mayfield would roll out and put the team on his back and get a first down. And you think, oh, it's over. But it's not. They need one more first down to run the clock out and end the game. And it would happen off the arm of Baker Mayfield. Would throw a beautiful out route pass to Chris Godwin and would seal the game. Your Tampa Bay Buccaneers win this game 20-17, stun the Minnesota Vikings, stun the NFL world, and we are so ecstatic to talk about this. Joel, what are you thinking?
It was good coaching.
I'm on cloud nine.
It was good coaching from Todd Bowles. Like, I've been like, it's on Todd Bowles. This is on Todd Bowles. This is on Todd Bowles. But like he went for that long field goal. I was like, no, that's too long of a field goal. Our field goal kicking's not good. We need to go for the touchdown here. We're gonna leave too much time on the clock. All these
Money McLaughlin.
All these kind of things are, and I'm the biggest Money McLaughlin fan. But all these things are going through my head. But he actually coached himself a good game, so that is good to see. I'm liking what he's doing. Like, even in the preseason, I'm like, you only did the starters for like one drive. Like, that's all we did. So, I mean, game one of the regular season, Todd Bowles didn't make me really mad. He did something smart.
No,
it worked.
To add on to that, what stuck out to me was the 3rd and 12 with the 3rd and 12 with 2 minutes to go. Instead of just running the ball and trying to get maybe a field goal, it would be deep, and giving the Vikings one more chance for sure to try to answer the bell. They throw the pass, Baker Mayfield to Chris Godwin, and they were able to run out the clock. And I just think last year, I think Bulls would have been too conservative there. I think they would have tried to run it out, get the field goal, would have been up 23-17. But I think you kick field goals, you lose games. He wanted to win, and he said, we're going to go for it. Who cares if it's incomplete? Who cares if they get sacked and they're out of field goal range? We want to win, and we're going to do whatever it takes. And they did it, and I'm so proud of them. That's a big coaching change from last year that I think has improved.
Yeah, that's encouraging. It's like maybe Tom Brady's out of the room and he can coach the way he wants to.
Yeah, it was a gutsy performance from the Bucs, and there's one thing Todd Bowles is in charge of. It's the whole team, but specifically it's the defense. And let me tell you guys, the defense came to play yesterday, holding the Vikings to only 17 points on one of the most prolific offenses from 2022. In this defense, we included 3 takeaways, 2 fumbles, and an interception. Only 41 yards rushing for the Vikings. Absolutely fantastic. The defensive line and linebackers were flourishing. The interior defensive line, you're not going to see the stats from, but Vita Vea, Logan Hall, Kalijah Kancey all had great games. They were plugging up the middle. They had to completely abandon interior run game because the Bucs interior line was doing so well. And then, man, you saw the video. I know you guys did. The best linebacker duo in the league. Don't forget it. Levante David, 8 tackles, 2 tackles for loss. Devin White, 12 tackles, 1 tackle for loss. And I mean, they were just flying around the ball. Anywhere the ball was, they were there and they were making the tackles. It was awesome defense, man.
Listen, Devin, I'm talking to you right now. You might have just got out of practice. Whenever you're listening to this, whenever we release it, if you play like that all year, from game 1 to game 17 or into the postseason, I will personally write you your $100 million contract.
I don't know, man. That's him or Mike Evans. Not to get on a tangent.
I'll take Devin White.
Devin White.
I'll take Devin White.
I'll take him all day. Playing like that, Todd Bowles demands a lot out of that defense. You got to be flying around constantly, especially at linebacker. And to play like that, we've seen him play it before. But last year, we were hot and cold on him. He seemed to struggle. But if you play like that, I'm giving you the money immediately. Because what a performance. What a performance by him. I think you mentioned Vita Vea as well. Gets a huge TFL. Nobody can block him one-on-one.
That's my team MVP, man.
Yeah, nobody can block him one-on-one. And then another play that I feel like shouldn't go unnoticed is there was a screen. And Vita Vea is a big dude. He's at the line of scrimmage and runs down the field and chases the running back.
It was amazing.
Hawks the running back.
Dude,
okay?
He's an athletic freak. Vita Vea is one of the greatest athletes I've ever seen with my 2 eyes. He is crazy. To move like that and be that strong and that big, it's freakish.
Yeah, you want to talk about championship level defense right there. That's Vita Vea. Hustling. You love to see that. Another one, man, shout out Antoine Winfield because
he was probably the player of the game.
He was
had
definitely
an absolutely dominant game.
Yeah, the sack, the forced fumble. Not to mention, he almost had an interception on the very first drive, but coming across the middle as a wide receiver and knocked it out of his hands. He should have had a pick there. So almost had a pick, sack, forced fumble, and fumble recovery. That's a huge day for Antoine.
He also had 8 tackles,
Winfield.
a pass breakup, 2 quarterback hits. He was stuffing the stat sheet. It was, incredible. And the whole secondary really, we talked about it, how it was a key to the game, and the secondary delivered. Justin Jefferson ended up with 9 receptions for 150 yards. On paper, that's a pretty good game for him. It got my fantasy team a good amount of points. However, Justin Jefferson finished the second half with 12 receiving yards. The Bucs changed their mentality, changed their defense, and they were able to shut him down, and that is in the most important parts of the game.
Yeah, that's their best player by far, and to shut him down is huge. And I think, honestly, his success in the first half came from some misalignments, and their zone had a couple issues. That's why Jordan Addison scored the touchdown on him. And once they figured it out, they shut Justin Jefferson down. And let's see first half to second half comparison from Kirk Cousins. In the first half, he goes 22 for 29, 273 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 5 passes over 20 yards. Second half, 11 for 15, 71 yards, no passes over 20 yards. The Bucs completely shut them down in the second half.
I give a lot of that credit to the coaching too. Like I was talking during the game. I'm like, hopefully, when at halftime they can make some adjustments, and we'll see what happens. And the adjustments were really good for the second half.
That's another sign of growth too, making the right adjustments. Because by all means, the Bucs played well in that first half, but Minnesota was definitely getting in a groove. I'd say the offense didn't play well in the first half, but the defense, by a whole, was keeping you in it.
They're making plays too.
To be able to make adjustments like that, that's huge, especially on offense. I think we should go into the offense. Baker Mayfield, your starting quarterback, went 21 for 34, 173 yards and 2 touchdowns. Rashad White, 17 carries, 39 yards. Mike Evans led the way for receivers with 6 receptions for 66 yards and 1 touchdown. So great to see Mike Evans balling, and it's great to see Baker baking it up.
Yeah, I think
he was in the kitchen.
He was in the kitchen, especially starting with that touchdown drive at the end of the first half. He really struggled. He missed a couple throws. There's a couple drops, a couple bad balls at the line, and the start was pretty brutal. Obviously, you can't be feeling good. You've just won the job. You're not a proven good quarterback at this point, and he was able to steady the ship, make a bunch of just winning plays, like Will talked about that. He made a couple nice runs. That one run to get the first down was huge, and then the throw right on the money to Chris Godwin, who made an absolutely great catch to seal the game. Baker was making winning plays. It's not the most flashy stat line, but Baker showed why he won the job, and he battled through a tough start to give us the win.
Yeah, and let me go through some stats here for Baker just to kind of give you a better picture. Look, this is Baker's 3rd team in 2 years, okay? 3rd new offense he's got to learn. Did not get a lot of preseason action, as we've seen. He had 2 drives against Pittsburgh in the first game, and then I want to say might have only been 1 in that 3rd game, or maybe 2. I think it might have been 2.
There was not.
So 4 drives.
It was a 3 and out and a
Yep, exactly.
touchdown.
Yep, you're right. So only 4 drives in preseason against other teams. I know you get a bunch of reps in practice, but eventually you play each other so much that you know kind of all the tricks everybody has up their sleeve. But so to come out struggling,
you need that in-game action, and we did not give much of it during the preseason.
So new offense too. Dave Canales, first-time offensive coordinator too. That's a big thing. So look, they struggled. And with 2 minutes and 39 seconds left in the first half, Baker was 3 for 11 with 12 yards. And you go, man, that's just not getting it done. And I think we all knew it was frustrating because the Bucs had 3 turnovers and only could muster 3 points. But after that, from the rest of the game, Baker went 18 for 23, 161 yards and 2 touchdowns. And you can see the difference when he finally settled down and the Bucs locked in, they were very efficient. And look, this defense will keep you in any game. Any game this year, the defense will keep you in it. The offense needs to step it up. And if they played like they did in the second half, a little more scoring, I just don't see this team tanking. I don't see this team losing 15 games. I just don't see it. With the team they have right now, and everybody should have seen that on Sunday, this team should not lose 15 games. It just shouldn't happen.
And it's not going to happen.
And it won't happen. I want them to go to the playoffs so bad.
They're only going to get better. Like you saw in the preseason, there were some hiccups here and there, but we didn't really have much to go off of. The beginning of this first game, it wasn't the best. But by halftime, Baker Mayfield was in the kitchen cooking, and we looked crispy.
They did. They did look crispy.
The kitchen you mentioned is the offensive line. And I think we need to talk about it. It was one of the biggest stories in the preseason. So when you look at the offensive line, the overall stats, Baker Mayfield was only sacked one time. Only 2 tackles for loss happened and 2 quarterback hits, so that's good overall. But unfortunately, the rushing game was not able to get much footing. There ended up being only like 73 yards rushing with 2.2 yards per carry. Baker definitely had some pressure, and we talked about the batted balls at the line, but I'd say a decent showing from the offensive line.
I have to give them real credit, especially for their passing game, because if you look at the sack that they gave up, I mean, Baker had all the time in the world. Probably should have thrown it away or ran for it, but he held on to it a little too long, and Danielle Hunter was finally able to get to him. So if you take away that, no sacks outside of that, and I think Baker, he's a shorter guy, so he's going to get some balls batted down. But overall, I'd say passing-wise, the offensive line played great. On the other hand, the running game needs to get better. And I think that was the Bucs' biggest issue last year. That was kind of why their offense seemed so one-dimensional. And I wouldn't really even say it was Byron Leftwich's problem. I'd say it was just the offensive line in general, because you can't get stuff going. And you can notice it, too, when we talked about this last week with the West Coast offense. You roll out to one side, and you got a bunch of options. But the Vikings weren't biting and going right for Baker, and so a lot of times he had a guy in his face immediately, and I just think if you can't get your running game going, that will never work. You need to get some good outside zone plays in there so that the play action will be even more deadly. So that's one thing they got to work on. And I saw something that made me so mad too about that. And this is an NFL guy. He gets paid to do this, guys. But I was already kind of talking about how we need to see Sean Tucker as RB1. Like, are you kidding me? This O-line needs to step up, and Rachaad White is a great running back, and it stinks that didn't have a great outing, but I just think, again, that's all in the O-line. There's nothing wrong with the running back room.
He was adding yards to rushes. Mm-hmm. He was making 0-yard rushes, 2 or 3 yards.
He was working with what he had, and it wasn't
a
whole lot. So.
Yeah. I think I saw some people were mad about how he was hesitating a lot, but he's hesitating because there was nowhere to run.
Yeah, so there's nowhere to go. So it's like, what do you expect him to do?
Yeah, it's a silly critique. Rachaad White did the best he could with the holes in the offensive line he was given, and hopefully they can help him out and he can get some big runs next week.
And it felt better this year than last year. I feel like last year when we would run it was like, why did we do that? But this year it's like, okay, it makes sense. Like we got 2-3 yards there. Like I feel like last year we'd go like 1 yard or we'd go backward.
I agree. That's a good point.
Yeah, man, I'm going to say it again. I just think if the offensive line can step up and we get a run game going, this team could be special, man. They really could. And one thing to note, too, Baker Mayfield, 0 interceptions.
Yeah.
0 turnovers for the Bucs.
Key.
That was a key. One of the keys to the game was, can Baker Mayfield protect the ball? And really for the whole season, could Baker Mayfield be smart with the football, not make mistakes, crucial mistakes? And they were able to do that, and that's why they got to win. And look, I don't believe in the Vikings, but that team could still be 11-6.
Yeah.
I think I have them going to the wild card.
Yeah, they could still be a playoff team. So the fact that the Bucs were able to get out there in Week 1
on the road
and just dominate on defense throughout the entire game, never slowing down, that's so big. And defense will win you championships, and hopefully you can get to the Bucs to their fourth preseason or postseason in a row.
And there's a third facet of football, and it's the special teams, and these guys were on point. Chase McLaughlin, Money McLaughlin, game-winning 57-yard field goal, made all his extra points, made the other field goal he attempted. Just great. We made the right decision. Also, Devin Tompkins had a really nice day returning, especially in the punt returns. He had like a 16-yard return, and I was watching it, and my buddy's like, "Why are you getting so hyped for this return? It was not even much." I'm like, "Man, I never see the Bucs even get forward progress when they get punt returns." So I'm excited, and I thought he would break it. But the special teams, Jake Camarda is a dog. We don't got to worry about him. He was punting the ball over the place and keeping the field position in our favor when the offense wasn't rolling. So special teams was amazing, just like the defense. Offense, if it could catch up, this could be a really special team for sure.
Mm-hmm. And again, another thing too, shout out to the rookies. We mentioned them a little bit before. You had Kalijah Cansey. He did re-injure his calf, so we don't know how he's going to do. But right away, just smoking Kirk Cousins on the big third down and causing what should have been an interception. Servachier Dennis is getting a bunch of snaps. A lot of them are on special teams. Yaya Diaby, I know you guys saw that dude out there playing some D-line, number 0. You couldn't miss him. Christian Eisen getting an interception. That's an undrafted rookie.
He got hosed on a bad pass interference
Oh,
call.
terrible. Oh my gosh.
That was a really soft call. That could have been another pass breakup. Good thing. He had a great game. He missed that tackle on the touchdown after that, but other than that, I mean, he had a better game than I could have even thought of.
Great game. Great game by him. And yeah, Sean Tucker, like we said, undrafted. And look, I'm not going to be quick to say this could be the best draft ever because, again, we did have a draft with Derek Brooks and Warren Sapp. But I'm saying 1 through 7, including your undrafted guys, all making impact week 1. If they could keep this class together, and let's see how their careers go. But just to see that after 1 week and so many names that you saw, I mean, that's just special, man. And that's hard to do to get them all right. To get every single pick right, it seems hard to do, and hopefully that's what Jason Light did in this last draft. I guess unless you guys look ahead, man.
Yeah, I'll say this: this team has a chance to be good. Are they going to make the Super Bowl? We don't know. We'll see. We hope, but a lot of the sports guys in the area are bringing up that this season has some of the flavors of the 2002 season where we won our first Super Bowl because we have an older quarterback like Baker Mayfield. And back in that first Super Bowl year, we had quarterback Brad Johnson, and they kind of ran the things the same way. We had a pretty stout defense. We brought in a new offensive mind back then in the form of John Gruden, and now I can't remember the offensive coordinator's name, but we have brought some fresh offensive mindsets into this already pretty defensive-oriented team. And who knows, we might catch fire and make it to the Super Bowl. Maybe not, but there's reasons to be excited about this Bucs team.
Yeah, and before we can do all that, we gotta look ahead to this week. Home opener. By the way, I think we both agree with what Joel just said. So ditto to that.
100%.
So I think we just gotta look ahead to home opener this week. Your Buccaneers host the Chicago Bears, who are 0-1, coming off a brutal loss.
0-1. Yes, this game is at 1:00 on Fox. It'll be on your local dials. The Bears, man, they open up their season at home against the Green Bay Packers and lose 38-20. Jordan Love looked incredible. Justin Fields, man, went 24 for 37, the quarterback of the Bears. 216 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. On the ground, he had 59 rushing yards. Look, man, this game gets me excited because this Bears team is not good. There was a lot of hype. I even picked them. I believed in the hype, and I hate doing that. I picked them to be
one, man. That's the extended
there's just some things I've seen.
The Bucs should be 2-0 after this week.
They really should. There's just some things that you see in games, and I know it's early in the NFL, but their O-line is terrible. Their O-line is so atrocious.
Ain't gonna fly with us.
And the Packers, I wouldn't say their D-line is exceptionally great, but I mean Justin Fields was running for his life on just about every play. And I know it's kind of a sing to scramble, but He's taken a lot of hits, and that Bears O-line, man, they're young, they're inexperienced, and they're not good. And Shaq Barrett, look out for Shaq Barrett. He should have a huge game this week against the Bears. On the defense, again, nothing that excites me a whole lot. I think the Bucs could use this week to boost their run game, get that going a little bit. But all in all, I think the Bucs have a very winnable game against a struggling NFC North team to start their home opener. And a little history note: the Bucs' first ever game in Raymond James Stadium was against the Bears, and they won. So here we go, new era, post-Brady era, against the Bears. Can they win it?
I'll do it. I'll start it off. I'm excited. I'm looking for the Bucs to have a convincing win this Sunday. I think going on the road against a playoff contender, to get that win, the momentum, the vibes are just going to be so good. I think our defensive line and linebackers are going to swallow up Justin Fields in that running game. I think our corners are just fine to cover their receivers. Now they got DJ Moore, but
DJ Moore.
Carlton Davis is up to the task on that. I'm looking for the Bucs to have a really decisive win. I'm looking for Rachaad White. We're all going to look at Rachaad White. I'm looking for him to have 100 yards plus rushing in this game. And the Bucs are going to win handily, 31-14.
I love it. Joel, what are you thinking?
All right, so this team's going to keep gelling. I'm going to go 34-20 Bucs. We're cooking. This cake's going to get better and better and better. Don't you Bucs fans worry. We're 2-0 by next week.
Yeah, I think this is the best way you can start out your season is to get a steal win on the road and then get a pretty weak opponent at home. I agree across the board. I think the Bucs will start 2-0, and I think they are going to do it 26-13. The Bucs will win 26-13. And
there's a lot of field goals in that game.
Yeah, I just think the Bucs got some stuff to work out.
Yeah.
They
I have them kicking too as well.
This is reminding me though of the Jameis Winston days. I think we're gonna win, but we got to take care of business. Starting 2-0, I know Saints won and Falcons won, so there's 3 1-0 teams in the AFC or NFC South. So we gotta take advantage of these easy wins.
Win the games you should.
It's gonna be a tight race, I think, but we gotta win these games we should.
Yeah, just to jump back from last week, Joel, you said we were all right on the Bucs winning. Joel, you said they'd win 31-20. Colby, you said 27-17. I said 21-18. And that's another one where I was so close, man.
I was one.
Close.
You're gonna get this, man.
I'm gonna be the first one.
I was on the right path though. If the Bucs had gotten like a random scoop and score and won 27-17, I would have been right there, man.
I know that is true. They could have scored on that last drive too.
Yeah.
But I mean, they had already won the game.
They were gonna let them get in and make it 27-17. Yeah. But we're all going Bucs again.
Yeah.
So, well, you know what happened last time? We all went Bucs.
The Bucs won, baby.
Hey, let's
and the Bucs are going to win
again. Let's keep the
again.
streak alive.
Yep.
I think that wraps it up for Bucs talk.
Yeah.
I guess we can
let me hit one more thing. We had a lot of turnovers this week. We got a lot of turnovers, so keep that up. Get them turnovers because last year we didn't have any turnovers. So, Bucs, I'm loving these turnovers, and I want more. I love it.
Yeah, more turnovers. You win the turnover battle every game. You put yourself in a great chance to win. I think just to kind of go around the NFL too. Look at our division. I wasn't impressed. I'll tell you that. The Saints and the Titans, that was a snooze fest. Both offenses seemed to struggle to score points, and that game it wasn't even worth being on TV. And then I think the Panthers, Bryce Young, it's his first game. Definitely struggled, though, against the Falcons. But I think neither team wanted to win that game either. So
Desmond Ridder with 115 yards passing, whopping. Bryce Young with 146.
And 2 picks on top of that.
Picks. So none of those teams. I think the Bucs was the best NFC South look of any of these teams.
They definitely were, man.
But got to keep it rolling.
Got to keep it rolling. Got to win. Again, this is a huge chance they have to go to the postseason again, and you got to capitalize on it. I think the biggest game of the week had to have been the Dolphins and Chargers, a big kind of shootout.
It was a doozy, man. That was a great game.
Yeah, Tua looked great with what was it, 466 passing yards. Had an interception, but yeah, you can't stop him and Tyreek Hill, man. That is a dangerous duo. I'm not sold on the. I know everybody, even last year, everybody said the Chargers were going to win the Super Bowl. I just think they want to lose. I think
They haven't proved anything yet.
Yeah, they haven't proven anything. They blow it in the playoffs last year, and then this year, at home, they were up by a couple scores and blow it again. So, yeah, Chargers. Eagles didn't look good either. I wasn't impressed with them. It was a sloppy, rainy game, but the Eagles barely survived against the Patriots 25-20.
49ers look good, though.
There was a lot of rain in the Northeast this week.
Yeah.
49ers look good. I'm a Mike Tomlin hater, though. I'll tell you guys that right now. Everybody's like, oh, the Steelers are back this year. You know, they're going to sneak in. No, they're not. They got embarrassed by the 49ers. And it's a playoff team, man. If you get embarrassed by playoff teams, I'm sorry. I don't expect you to win. And the AFC North is tough.
And then the Giants got shellacked on Sunday Night Football. That was brutal.
Oh, my goodness,
yeah,
man.
so I guess I picked Giants for a wild card team. I look a little stupid, but that's all right. It's week one.
It's all right, man. I picked Patriots, and I'm not looking good right now.
I feel
Patriots is a better look than Giants after week one.
I just feel so bad for the Giants because nothing worked out that game. And I know you look bad, but they just could not get anything going all the way to the end. And even dude, I think any time they got a first down in that game was called back by a holding. It just nothing worked out. Yeah. That O-line looked terrible. Just an embarrassing game. The Lions, are we believing the hype? Believing the hype on the Lions? That was a Thursday night game.
Creamsicle Day is going to be fire.
That's going to
be a game, man.
But you know what? I'm so mad because I looked at the tickets earlier this year, and you could sit front row for $100. Now you can't sit anywhere for less than $300. So the Lions get one win, everybody goes a little crazy. So
we're probably not going to that game.
I might swing it. I might try because I want to see the creamsicle so bad, and kind of shame on the Bucs for only wearing it one time this year. Sorry, I like the pewters, but give me at least 2 creamsicle days. Give me 2.
That's pretty much it. I think.
Oh, the Bengals too.
Oh, that was brutal. Bengals, and then Seahawks look bad too. But it's NFL. There's 17 games. It's
basically preseason week 4.
So. So thank you guys for watching and listening and interacting with us on Instagram, TB3 Sports Talk, X TB3 Sports Talk. Listened on Spotify and YouTube. Thank you guys for all the love and support. We appreciate every single one of you guys, and we look forward to you guys listening to this and giving some thoughts on this huge weekend in Tampa Bay.
Oh, wait. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
While we're talking about this, guys, do everything you can to support this Rays Orioles series.
Yes.
This is the pre-postseason.
Yeah, it's going to be – watch Randy Rosarina put on a masterclass, and the Rays get the biggest wins in the regular season in a while.
Yeah, sorry about that. The predictions. Last week I was in the lead with 9. Colby was in second place with 7, and Joel, you were in third with 7. This week, as it stands, I am in the lead with 14. Colby in second with 12, and Joel in third with 11. Shouldn't have bet against USF.
Sorry.
Should have bet against
trying
the
to be a
Bulls,
realist.
baby. But yeah, that's where it stands. Sorry about that. Thank you again for listening. We love you guys. And again, love interactions with the fans, so make sure to comment and tell us what you think about the show. It is September 11th. Monday Night Football is on. Make sure to watch it. Jets and Bills. Thank you for listening.